Hello, everyone. I'm Jensen Denoyes here for a brand new episode of Hero in You. Please subscribe to our YouTube page, Hero in You. We are filming here at the ACF rink in Brockton, Massachusetts, the city of champions.
And I'm Iliandra Antunes. Hero in You is an educational program that focuses on self-growth and self-empowerment. The show aims to discuss a topic connected to a comic book story and see how it relates to our lives so you can
find the hero in you. Today's topic is on self-control. British writer Samuel Smiles has a quote that says, "Self-control is only courage under another form." In this episode, we will discuss the importance of self-control, how it plays a crucial role in hockey and in winter sports, where athletes must stay focused and composed under intense conditions. We have an exclusive interview, one-on-one exclusive interview with Boston Bruins hockey legend and Boston Bruins Foundation president, Mr. Bob Sweeney. He talks about how it is important in hockey to have mental toughness, quick decision-making, and of course, have the ability to stay resilient. You definitely don't want to miss this episode.
The superhero we're highlighting is the Hulk, written by Peter David. He achieved his goal through self-control. Like Hulk, hockey players and winter athletes must channel their strength strategically rather than letting their emotions take over. First, we hear from the Stoughton Brockton High School boys hockey team and Coach Dan Mark on how young athletes develop self-control by staying disciplined throughout the winter season. Let's play the clip.
I'm a retired middle school teacher at Stoughton. I coached Stoughton High before we did the co-op with Brockton. I've done that for about 40 years. Love sports. Pretty active. The big emphasis we tell them is that with self-control, you really need to think about the team, the consequences. If you don't keep self-control, it's going to impact the entire team. And the kids really get the message. They buy into it, which is great. Actually, I won't mention the name, but we had a game probably about 3 or 4 years ago. Great game. And this kid that showed self-control all year didn't. And it resulted in a penalty. A kid knocked him down. He got up and shoved him and threw a punch. So we ended up being shorthanded. The other team scored, and that kind of turned the game against us because he didn't show self-control. Other times, kids have, shown self-control. They just walked away from a possible situation, which is great. But I thought about that one. That's a negative, but it shows how it works if you don't do it. The biggest thing is to figuratively take a deep breath and always think about the team. It's all about the team. And if you think about your individual emotions and you let those get the better of you, the consequences of the team are great, as the example I just gave you. I think that's the biggest thing to keep emphasizing the kids are in. When you find with the kids as a group, if there's a kid that might be losing a little bit of their self-control, the kids go over, pull them away, tell them to calm down. And it's definitely a culture that we've established. Not just us, a lot of teams do this. I just recently worked the state high school hockey tournament, and the best teams were at the Boston Garden yesterday, and they were all the teams that showed self-control. They skated away from a possible confrontation because they knew, the big stakes involved.
Because if I get a stupid penalty or something, I'm out for part of the game. So I just think about everyone else.
On the bench, I'll just slow down and think to myself, and I'll breathe and try to slow myself down so I don't try to do something stupid.
The way you maintain self-control is I like to take deep breaths, calm myself down, just because I can't get too mad out there because I'm a captain after so leadership.
I think it comes together because it's high stress, and one mistake could make your team lose or something. And if you're not composed and you don't have self-control, it could you can make that mistake and you could have lost the game.
It's a very physical game, and it just takes a lot out of you. So it's you have to really have a lot of self-control to be able to play and stuff, being able to maintain your emotions. It helps.
This year we had a tough season record-wise, and it wasn't from lack of effort. The kids worked so hard all year. Perfect example, we had an optional practice. Kids were sick, and a few kids were banged up, and the entire team showed up, which to me, that was one of the highlights of the season. And even our last game of the year, we hadn't won a game all year. They worked so hard, and we gave a team that ended up going to the state tournament, a very good game. We lost, but the message was to always give your best effort, and even in the last minute, they did that. So I think the support is important, that people come and watch a game. I mean, if you just place emphasis on winning and losing all the time, which believe me, everybody wants to win. I want to win. But the crowd, it's important they come and watch the kids in their town play.
Self-control isn't just physical, it's mental. Sports psychologist Christy Semler explains how to focus and emotional control shape performance in winter sports. Let's hear for her insights.
I work with a very diverse range of athletes, coaches, administrators. So some of the work I do is directly with athletes as young as 10 years old, all the way through Olympic and professional level athletes. I also consult with coaches, administrators, athletic departments. So there's a wide variety of things that I do. And another thing that I do is working with people like ski patrollers that have experienced trauma or other, traumatic things going on in the job because they're EMTs on skis and doing trauma reprocessing right on the snow. So I do something truly different every single day. And as far as sports, I have worked with hockey, baseball, softball, all running sports, all winter sports, and also crew and rowing. So wide variety of stuff. And all of it is truly rewarding, whether it's that 10-year-old that learned the first Mento skill and that's an incredible breakthrough, or it's the person going for a championship at the professional level. So I view every story that I get the privilege of hearing as a rewarding, experience for me. One of the biggest things that athletes do need to have is self-control, and it's part of one of the C's of mental toughness. And when we look at our emotions, all humans have emotions, males, females, everybody does. And we often look at females as being more emotional over men. But if a female cries out of frustration and a male is angry out of frustration, how is one more emotional than the other, right? We all have emotions. And if you've ever tried to block emotions, that's not possible. And same thing of blocking thoughts. People will say, just put it out of your head, block it. Not possible. You need tools to do that. It's like telling somebody to hit the ball, without any tools. And we see that a lot, or I'll have coaches yell, relax, where the word relax becomes triggering for people instead of something that actually makes you relax. So what I do is I'll work with an athlete and I'll see what their triggers are for frustration, anger, because a lot of athletes now have lower frustration tolerance. They can't handle the space between when you're learning something and you acquire it. That's a frustration space to be in. So understanding how to cope with that is huge. So we'll look at the way they handle frustration, the way they handle anger, and how they regulate themselves. And then we develop what's called a mental game plan. It's learning to choose how you respond to a situation. And it takes a great deal of practice. So you need to do this in practice situations, and then you can apply it to game situations. So mental skills training goes on behind the scenes a lot. Every single day, athletes are out there working on their mental skills so that you can see them at the highest level of the sport being regulated. One of the things I do is I truly practice what I preach, because to have longevity in the mental health space and in the sports psychology space, you have to care for yourself before you care for anyone else. So I truly believe in applying my own skills to myself, meaning getting 8 hours of sleep a night, fueling myself properly, taking time for exercise, all of those things, because if I'm not able to do them, how can I be teaching them to somebody else? And one of the things I do is ultra running. So ultra running is very mental after a certain point, and I apply all my own tools and utilize my own skills to be able to do that sport. I also am an avid skier. I ski as many days as possible, and I'm very grateful I get to work with the wonderful people at Okemo Mountain and get to ski as much as possible and spend time on snow. I also run women's clinics on snow for skiing and stuff like that. And I just spend a lot of time being in nature, and and even as busy as I am, I have a lot of fun and I have a lot of downtime, but I also truly love everything I do. And I hope that for everybody, that you find your passion and it fuels you and excites you. So, because that's what I feel like every day, whether it's in the classroom at Bridgewater State or, doing the work that I do.
Good job.
Mental strength is just one piece of the puzzle. Physical discipline is just as important. Now, we hear from the athletic trainer, Jay Cabusco, from Above All Fitness Center. He's an athletic trainer. He talks about how self-control portrays your athletic performance. Let's play the clip.
I want to talk about commitment. What is commitment, right? Commitment is saying you're going to do something long before that feeling that you said in has left you.
It's Elsa Suxo here with Hero and You. Today's guest is Jay, our personal trainer for today. Hi, Jay. Thank you so much for being on our episode. Please tell us where you come from and how you got to this position.
All right. Hello, guys. My name is Jay Tavares, originally from Cape Verde Island. I moved out here 1995, so close to 30 years ago now. I resided in Brockton most of my life. I was an RVT at Brockton Hospital. I did pre and post veins, arteries, surgeries. And I've been doing a personal training for about 7 years now. Opened up my gym in 2018 and it's been running strong ever since.
Yes, I was one of his customers a couple of years back. He trained me well. He definitely left the mark on me. And let me tell you, you're phenomenal at what you do. You really push people and it is amazing.
Self-control is very important when it comes to your nutrition, when it comes to fitness, when it comes to any area of your life. Self-control is a must. You really got to find it. You got to say no to yourself. A lot of times we don't. We sit on a couch and we said, you know, I'm going to say, my guys, I want to watch movies. I want to watch TV. Instead of saying, yes, I'm going to the gym. A lot of times you got to ignore yourself for what you want and go for what your body really needs and what it wants. Self-control is a key to achieve any goals in life.
Exactly. Whether that is school or work, you have to get up and do it. You can't just sit there and do nothing because you're going to get nowhere. Am I right?
Yes, of course.
And that also comes with discipline. So what is the difference between discipline and self-control? Or are both the same?
I think the right on the same ballpark. A lot of times people look at discipline, they look at some kind of a punishment. But discipline is going to get you to where you need to be in life, whether it comes to your finance, success, fitness, nutrition. You have to be disciplined enough to say no. You have to be disciplined enough to get up and go get it. You have to be disciplined enough to be like, you know what? Today's my day. I'm going to go after. I'm going to go get it. No matter what, you got to keep pushing.
I like that. Today's my day and I'm going to go after it.
Yes.
But not only is he a personal trainer, he's also a father. So how do you teach your son this?
All right. So that is one of the things I'm always saying is 80% when it comes to teaching your kids is not what you say, is what you do. Your kids are going to watch most of the stuff that you do, how you live your life. They pretty much are going to follow it. It's important to tell them what to do, but most of the time they're going to end up doing what you're doing.
Exactly. You teach by example.
Teach by example. Lead by example. Yes.
And you as a father, you're a leader. And as a coach, you're obviously a leader. And that itself makes you a very powerful person. So how do you help your clients not feel so small compared to you?
Words of affirmation when they come in here, motivate them, push them, tell them they can do it. Because a lot of times, you know, when you're out there, you're already getting, 99% of our conversation is negative.
Yeah.
So when you're out there, that's all you hear. But when you come in here, you get the positive motivation. We push you. We take you to the next level. A lot of times when the clients come to me, the self-esteem is low. But, through fitness and exercise and nutrition, they be able to find themselves again and build up to self-esteem, build up to self-confidence, and they get to where they should be at.
I love that. I absolutely love that because that's key. You got to be confident in what you do, because nobody knows what's going on besides you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And with that being said, we're going to talk about the Hulk. The Hulk is a big part of this episode.
Yes.
So how do you see yourself in the Hulk?
Everybody has a little bit of Hulk in him. Everybody has amazing potential. Nelson Mandela said it best. It says, it's not just in some of us, it's in all of us. We all are born with amazing potential. Somewhere down the line, we lose it due to obstacles, circumstances. So unleash that potential and go after what you believe is yours. It's in you.
Yes, it's in you. You heard it right here. And last question for you. We have the Bruins in this episode, and they play hockey. So what advice do you have for hockey players? Like, what would you recommend a good workout for them?
Hockey players is a very agile sport. So usually recommend some kind of a functional conditioning training that would help them, to build up that, cardiovascular system in order so they can breathe better. And then
especially in the
coach through the exercise. Yeah, most definitely. Definitely a conditioning. Some kind of a hand clean, a sub bike, battle rope, exercise will keep it moving. And then obviously some strength training as well, because it's a lot of bumping and hitting. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jay. He was our personal trainer for the day. It's Elsa Suxo here with Hearing You. Catch you next episode.
Thank you, guys.
Bruce Banner, aka Incredible Hulk, is strong, action-oriented, and resilient. Qualities every great hockey player must have. But true power comes from self-control. Like hockey players, Hulk must learn to channel his strength strategically rather than letting emotions take over. Mastering this balance separates good athletes from great ones. Our final guest understands the importance of mental toughness in a high-pressure environment. Hearing You sat down with Boston Bruins legend and Boston Bruins Foundation president Bob Sweeney to discuss the importance of self-control in hockey. Let's play the clip.
I started playing hockey when I was probably 5.5 years old. I grew up in a small town, Boxborough, Mass, about 45 minutes west of the city here. I was one of 7 kids, 1 brother, 5 sisters. My dad was a builder. The last thing he built was a couple of hockey rinks, but it's a funny story because when I first started playing hockey, I didn't really like it. I was a little bit intimidated by the learn to skate coach, and I stopped after probably 4 or 5 weeks. But the good thing about my dad, as I said, he was a builder, and the last house where we grew up and spent most of our childhood was surrounded by ponds. So I went back, skated on my own, and basically asked my mom and dad if I could try hockey again the next year, which I'm glad I did. So I was fortunate enough to play for Acton Boxborough High School. We always had good teams, had some guys that played in the NHL like Bobby Brook and Tommy Barrasso. We had a lot of Division I hockey players. We always made the state tournament, but always fell short to our arch rivals, Mattanon High School. And, but it was a great experience, and that led me to Boston College, where I played for 4 years and got my degree in marketing. Knowing that an 18-year-old kid at 6'4", 180 pounds, being drafted by the Bruins out of high school, obviously was not ready to pursue a pro career. But as I mentioned, going to Boston College was very instrumental in my life, not only for a hockey player aspect, but for also getting my degree in marketing and helping me out in what I do today for the Boston Bruins Foundation. Well, I believe in fate, and unfortunately, I lost my sister-in-law on 9/11. She was the flight attendant on the phone on the first plane, basically identifying that they had been hijacked and identifying where some of the hijackers were seating. So she was instrumental in the grounding of numerous planes. But for me, I wanted to do something for my brother, and more particular for his 2 young children at the time. And I thought about starting a foundation in their honor, but the more and more I talked to a few family members who, some of them were attorneys, we decided to focus more for the whole Massachusetts 9/11 Fund, which we organized some fundraisers at, and I found I was pretty good at it. And I took over the Bruins alumni right around the same time. Johnny Busick was stepping down from the day-to-day operations, but that was more of a part-time position. So, I went and met with Charlie Jacobs and had an opportunity to come on board as director of youth hockey. I have three boys who now are 24, 28, and 30, but back then they were in every hockey rink or baseball field or lacrosse field, and I basically asked Charlie if they wanted to expand their youth hockey in the city, and he said yes, and why don't you do it? And then right before I was to take this job, there was an opening with the foundation. He said, based on your work that you had done for your sister-in-law, I think you might be better equipped to take on the foundation, which I did. The higher you get at every level, the competition gets, more intense. And obviously, you know, we just hosted the Four Nations, the best of the best. You know, you can't get any higher than that. But I think it's very important, you know, self-control, you know, mentally and physically. We do a lot of school assemblies. We go into elementary schools and talk about being good kids, talk about healthy habits, talk about being active. I believe, as far as self-control in a hockey environment, is just, you know, being in the moment and knowing what you're up against. I believe in habits. You know, you practice the way you play. So if the way you prepare yourself for those big moments, which you have 82 of them in a hockey schedule, is going to enhance your ability to perform at the highest level. So John Whitesides used to be the strength and conditioning coach for the Boston Bruins for years, and now he's been a full-time employee for the Bruins Foundation. So John and I work closely together, and we spend a lot of time in a room like this whiteboarding different opportunities and how BFit could be a major part of the Bruins Foundation. And I'm happy to say, after 9 years, our health and wellness, in particular through our BFit program, has grown leaps and bounds. As Jensen can attest to, you know, we just hosted our 9th annual BFit Challenge, which hosts all first responders, military, friends of first responders, and we raised over $1.2 million, which that's an amazing accomplishment. I think the first year we started, we raised over $100,000, and to see where we've grown in our 9th year is a true testament to all the work that not only John, but all of our staff has done over the years. We went through an external audit about 8 years ago and really opened our eyes. Sometimes when you're in a job, you know, you're a creature of habit. You're just going to do what you've done in the past. And going through this audit really examined what we had done in the past with the foundation and how we should move forward. And this is when we were just starting, you know, Be Fit and health and wellness, and we made that a priority for the foundation. And you mentioned growing the game. So growing the game is very important, not only for the Bruins, but the whole NHL. Most recently, you know, as part of growing the game, we made a significant contribution to Score Boston through the IGF fund, which the NHL and the NHLPA support, and the Boston Bruins Foundation. It's a collaboration, and we will be granting them $150,000 over the next 2 years, each year, for a total of $300,000 to help grow their organization, to get them more sustainable. And that helps out kids in the inner city who want to learn the game of ice hockey that might not have the wherewithal, because as we all know, ice hockey is probably one of the most expensive sports to play as parents and for kids to participate in. So growing the game, whether it's helping out kids in the city, whether it's redoing a street hockey facility to help kids learn the game. It's not only ice hockey, it's, you know, putting sticks in kids' hands and letting them get out there and enjoy the game of hockey, whether it's street hockey or ice hockey. I can honestly say I am 61 and I still play the game, still play a lot of alumni games. And I look at my kids who have all played hockey growing up. One is finishing his senior year at UNH playing hockey. They all played collegiate sports. One played college lacrosse. My oldest played college hockey as well. I can believe when you're part of a team or an organization, it really gives you a sense of purpose. And whether that is, you know, getting up each day to make yourself not only a better person, but a better athlete, what you need to do, whether that's, you know, in the weight room, what you're eating, what you're putting into your body. I believe if you keep repeating these steps, and once you get older, it just becomes second nature. I find sport, in particular hockey, for my family has been a great way for self-control, and to see how my kids have grown up into young men and being very successful is very rewarding as a parent.
That was an amazing interview by Bob Sweeney. We appreciate what you're doing for the community. If you want to learn more about the Boston Bruins Foundation, visit their Instagram page at Boston Bruins Foundation. Iliandra, this episode is on self-control. We would like to know, how do you apply self-control in your daily life?
Yeah, it's a good question, Jensen. Thank you. So what I do is I set small, realistic goals. And from there, I see what I can actually accomplish during that time period. Let's say if it's within a week span,
Right.
I'm like, all right, I just need to tackle these three skills.
Right.
And one by one, I go and check them off. And I'm like, all right, is this what I need to accomplish for the day? And if I do that, I add on top another one. But it's like, it has to be very small for me because I'm like, not going to accomplish something that's extravagant, you know?
Right.
Small, clear goals will get me to where I need to be.
I totally agree with you.
Overall, we learned the importance of self-control. The final example this program wants to present is issue number 377 of The Incredible Hulk, written by Peter David. Like British writer Samuel Smiles once said, self-control is only courage under another form. In this story, Bruce Banner, aka Hulk, faces his biggest struggle, controlling his emotions. Overwhelmed by past trauma and anger, Bruce turns to therapy with psychologist Dr. Sampson to regain control of his life. During the therapy session, as a multiple personality disorder patient, he confronts his personas, the Savage Hulk's anger and the Grey Hulk's cunning. Instead of battling his emotional wounds, Bruce learns to understand and channel them with self-control. Fusing his broken personality, he becomes Professor Hulk, a powerful being who controls his emotions instead of letting them control him. If Bruce Banner had not dared to confront his emotions, he would have remained in a cycle of rage. Instead, he became a dynamic hero by simply understanding the power of self-control. If you want to share how you are mastering self-control and helping your community, please visit our website at www.findthehero.com. Subscribe to our YouTube page, Hero in You. Don't forget to like us on our Facebook page, www.facebook.com/thehero-in-you. Follow us on our X page at The Hero in You, our Instagram page at The Hero in You, and of course, follow us on our TikTok page at Hero_in You.
You can find the hero in you. Hey, Iliandra, let's put some ice skates and play some hockey right now.
All right, let's go.
All righty.